Welcome, gents. The most dangerous man is the one who observes in silence, moves in shadows, and answers to no one. We live in a world designed to track, tag, and trap. Every click is logged, every move predicted, and every choice nudged. The Matrix isn't fiction anymore, it's the system we live in, social structures, media algorithms, corporate ladders, cultural labels. It's built to reward those who conform and punish those who don't. But there's one type of man it can't quite touch, the Sigma male. He's not loud, he's not a rebel waving flags or shouting online, he's the one who simply walks away. He doesn't need the crowd, the applause, or the chaos. He thinks for himself, he makes his own moves, and most importantly, he cannot be programmed. This video isn't about fantasy or macho nonsense. It's a raw look at why the Sigma male slips through the cracks of a system that's designed to own people. It's about how silence can be power, how independence can be resistance, and how thinking for yourself is the most dangerous thing you can do in a world begging for your obedience. If you've ever felt like you don't fit in, and that's not a weakness but a warning sign that you're awake, then this is for you. Watch the video. Don't just consume it, use it. Understand why you feel different, and how that difference is your edge. Because the Matrix can only capture those who still want something from it. What if you want nothing? Let's dive in, gents. Number one, the Sigma male is outside the social operating system. In today's world, everything runs on a system. Schools train you to follow orders. Jobs reward obedience. Social media pressures you to fit into a box. Look this way, talk like that, chase the trends. That's the social operating system. A set of invisible rules designed to keep you predictable and plugged in. Most people follow it without question. Some climb the ladder, alphas chasing dominance and status. Others fall in line, betas doing what they're told, hoping to belong. The system runs smoothly when people know their place. But then there's the Sigma male. He doesn't want the top seat. He doesn't want followers. He doesn't even want to be seen. The Sigma male walks outside the entire system. Not because he can't play the game, but because he knows it's not worth playing. He doesn't fight the rules, he just refuses to need them. And that's what makes him untouchable. The Matrix, this machine of algorithms, social ladders, cultural pressures, doesn't know what to do with him. It can't label him, can't predict him, can't control him. Why? Because he doesn't register in its programming. He's not chasing attention, he's not asking permission, and he's not trying to prove anything. While the system watches for threats that scream and shout, the Sigma male moves in silence. He's not a glitch. He's not broken code. He's a different code. He lives on his own time, by his own rules. He may blend in, but his mind is always elsewhere. Free, detached, dangerous. And here's the twist. His detachment isn't weakness, it's power. When you don't crave approval, when you don't need the crowd, the system loses all control over you. The Sigma male is proof that you can live free, think free, and be free without asking anyone for it. If you've ever felt like you were built differently, maybe you weren't broken, maybe you were outside the code all along, wake up to the truth, step outside. Number two, he understands the Matrix but chooses not to play. Picture this, you're at a company meeting. The boss walks in, puffed up with authority. The alphas start talking over each other, trying to impress. The betas sit quietly, nodding along, hoping to stay in good standing. Everyone's playing their part, following the script, trying to win in a game they didn't design. Now look at the guy sitting near the back. He's not trying to lead. He's not trying to please. He's just watching, calm, focused, unbothered. That's the Sigma male. He sees the whole thing for what it is, a performance, a system built on ego, status, approval, and fear of rejection, the Matrix in action. But instead of trying to beat it, he simply opts out. He doesn't need the spotlight. He doesn't want the crown. He's already figured out that the prize at the end, status, validation, fake power, isn't real freedom. It's another kind of cage. Here's the difference. Most people either submit to the system or try to dominate within it. The Sigma male, he walks right past it, not out of ignorance, but because he fully understands it. That's what makes him dangerous and invisible. The Matrix runs on predictability. It counts on people reacting a certain way, chasing certain things, but the Sigma doesn't react. He responds thoughtfully, quietly, on his own terms. He might still show up, he might still engage, but he never plugs in all the way. That distance is his armor. It's what keeps him free and impossible to control. You see, when you truly understand the game, you don't need to win it. You just stop playing. And that's what the Matrix fears most, someone who sees through the illusion and walks away anyway. If you've ever felt like you see what others don't, like you're done playing a rigged game, this is your sign. Learn the rules, but choose your own path. Number 3, lone wolves don't trigger alerts. The Matrix is designed to detect patterns. It watches for trends, tracks groups, monitors movements. When people gather, whether to follow, protest, or influence, the system takes notice. It scans the loud ones, the leaders, the organizers. It sees a crowd and instantly asks, what are they planning? Who's in charge? But then there's the one man walking alone, quiet, focused, not leading, not following, just moving on his own frequency. That's the Sigma male. He doesn't build a following. He doesn't post every move online. He's not trying to start a revolution or be part of one. And that's what makes him invisible to the system. The Matrix can't track what doesn't show up on the grid. It's built to scan for noise, for movements, for momentum. But the Sigma male is a quiet operator. His presence is subtle. His choices are deliberate. He's not antisocial. He's selectively social. He connects with people when he wants to, not because he needs to. Picture it like this. Imagine the Matrix as a giant radar. On it you'll see blips flashing, leaders, influencers, mobs, viral trends, but the Sigma male, he's not a blip, he's a shadow. He moves under the radar, and the radar wasn't designed to see shadows, and it's not because he's hiding, he just doesn't crave attention. While others measure success by likes, followers, and applause, he measures it by peace, freedom, and control over his own time. This makes him a ghost in a system that's built to trap noise, not silence. The Matrix watches for masses, but he is massless. The Matrix flags movement, but he is movement without spectacle. He doesn't need a tribe. He doesn't need backup. He's not forming an army. He is the strategy. And in a world obsessed with being seen, the Sigma male's ability to stay invisible might just be his greatest power. Number 4, he is not a glitch, he is a hidden protocol. In a system like the Matrix, everything is based on rules, predictable patterns, social labels, clean categories. You're either alpha, beta, a leader, a follower, a creator, or a consumer. And if you don't fit any of that, the system thinks something's wrong with you. That's how it sees the Sigma male, as a glitch. An error in the code, someone who doesn't respond the way he's supposed to. He doesn't chase approval, doesn't follow the crowd, doesn't even try to stand out. The system says, that's not normal, must be broken. But here's the twist, he's not broken at all, he's not a glitch, he's a hidden protocol built differently, running silently, intentionally. The Sigma male is like a secret function buried deep in the software, quiet, powerful, and invisible to everyone who's only scanning the surface. He doesn't reject the system because he's confused or angry. He sees the full picture and then calmly chooses to walk a different path. While others are locked in a loop, chasing titles, attention, likes, and status, he rewrites the script on his own terms. Think of it like this. Most people are running on standard software. Same apps, same routines, same dreams. The Sigma male, he's using custom code, something he built from scratch out of experience, pain, truth, and freedom. And that code doesn't crash when the world goes crazy. It adapts, silently, effortlessly. That's why people don't get him. That's why the system can't track him. He doesn't act out of emotion. He doesn't follow the narrative. He moves like a shadow, thinks like an outsider, and builds like an architect. So the Matrix keeps looking at him sideways, trying to decode him, thinking he's an error, but he's not. He's the one thing the system never planned for, a self-aware man with nothing to prove and no need to be seen, and that makes him unstoppable. Number 5, he hides in plain sight. The Matrix is designed to spot two kinds of people, those who blend in completely and those who stand out too much. It flags the loud ones, the rebels, the attention seekers, and it categorizes the quiet ones as harmless. Either way, it knows how to label you, track you, and respond to you. But then there's the Sigma male, the one who slips through all of that. He doesn't wave a flag or try to be different. He doesn't need to wear a costume of rebellion. He looks normal, talks normal, works, walks, shops like everyone else. You could pass him in the street and never notice a thing, but behind those calm eyes, he's watching, thinking, always a step ahead. He hides in plain sight. That's his genius. He knows how the system works, so he doesn't fight it head on. He doesn't draw attention to himself. Why would he? The moment the system spots you, it starts working to categorize and control you. But if it can't find you, if it thinks you're just another face in the crowd, you stay free. While others scream for visibility, the Sigma male masters invisibility. He's not invisible because he's weak or scared. He's invisible because he chooses not to be read. He blends just enough to avoid suspicion. But internally, he's never bought in. He doesn't adopt groupthink. He doesn't internalize the culture. He walks among the crowd, but his mind is always elsewhere, free, sharp, untouched. Think of it like this. The matrix scans for outliers by looking for noise, trends, and red flags. But the Sigma male doesn't set off any alarms. He's not loud, he's not flashy. He's clean code, moving through the system like smoke, ungraspable. And that's what makes him unstoppable, because you can't catch what you can't see, and you can't control a man who doesn't need to be noticed. And number 6, the matrix can't predict his moves. The matrix runs on one simple thing: patterns. Your likes, your searches, your spending habits, your daily routine, it's all tracked, logged, and analyzed. Algorithms are built to guess what you'll do next before you even know. And for most people, it works. They're creatures of habit, moving in loops that the system can easily read. But the Sigma male, he breaks the loop on purpose. He understands how predictable behavior turns into control. So instead of following a fixed routine, he makes unpredictability a part of his life. He shifts gears, changes environments, mixes up his schedule, not because he's scattered, but because he's strategic. He doesn't post regularly. He doesn't react to trends. One week he's in deep focus mode. The next he's completely off-grid. While others get more and more automated, more locked into their digital patterns, he stays human, raw, conscious, and unpredictable. Let's say he usually works late into the night. The matrix would expect that, but then suddenly he changes. He disappears for a few days, deletes some apps, moves to a new city, switches industries, picks up a new skill. No announcement, no explanation, just movement. That alone breaks the algorithm. And here's the key: this isn't random chaos. It's controlled unpredictability. He makes moves based on his own internal compass, not external pressure. That's why the system can't track or trap him, because it can't anticipate someone who doesn't follow a script. The Sigma male isn't addicted to routine, attention, or approval. He's addicted to growth, clarity, and freedom. And he knows that once you become predictable, you become programmable. So he stays fluid. He evolves constantly, not to impress, not to confuse, but to stay free. And in a world run by code, the man who writes his own is the one you'll never catch. Number 7, no desire for control, no weakness to exploit. The matrix runs on leverage. It controls people by figuring out what they want and then dangling it in front of them like a carrot. Alphas want control, power, dominance. So the system gives them titles, positions, influence, but keeps them on a leash. Betas want to belong. They crave approval, connection, validation. So the matrix gives them likes, trends, safe roles, and a sense of community as long as they follow the rules. But the Sigma male, he wants neither. He doesn't need to be in charge, and he doesn't need to fit in, and that's exactly why the system can't touch him. You can't bribe someone who isn't chasing your rewards. You can't manipulate someone who doesn't need your permission, and you can't blackmail someone who's not afraid to walk away from everything you think matters. The Sigma male doesn't owe anyone anything, and that's terrifying to a system built on dependence. He builds his own foundation: internal peace, self-reliance, mental clarity. He doesn't broadcast his personal life. He doesn't reveal his fears. He's friendly but private, present but detached. You never quite know what he's thinking, and that's not an accident, that's design. While others build their identity on status, image, or group loyalty, the Sigma male keeps his identity locked inside, untouchable, unshakable. He doesn't overshare. He doesn't overextend. He moves through life like a man with no strings attached. The matrix can't find a hook in him, no ego to stroke, no spotlight to offer, no fear to exploit. He's not climbing the ladder or begging to be liked. He simply is. And in a world where nearly everyone can be baited, bought, or broken, the man who wants nothing becomes the one they can't control. That's not weakness. That's pure, quiet power. Number 8, he always leaves the door unlocked. Most people don't even realize they're locked in. They wake up, check their phone, scroll through news, trends, and other people's lives. They go to work, follow orders, come home, distract themselves, repeat. They move through life on autopilot, tied to routines, apps, opinions, and expectations they never really chose. The system loves this. Predictable people are easy to manage, but the Sigma male, he's different. He may be in the system, but he's never fully of it. He always leaves the door unlocked. What does that mean? It means he never lets the system hold him completely. He doesn't buy into the illusion that any one job, city, relationship, or label defines him. He could leave tomorrow and nothing would fall apart because he never tied his identity to any of it. He keeps a mental exit route, a way to think clearly even when the world is screaming for conformity. He keeps a physical exit too, money saved, skills sharpened, options open. And on a deeper level, he holds a philosophical exit, the ability to detach. To walk away with peace, not panic. That's why you can't trap him. The matrix feeds on people who need it, but the Sigma male is always ready to unplug, always halfway gone. Not because he's afraid of commitment, but because he refuses to be owned. Others stay because they're afraid of what happens if they leave. He stays only as long as it serves his growth, not his ego. He's the kind of man who could vanish from social media, change locations, switch careers, and never look back. Because his identity isn't glued to the digital world or external status. That's not escape, that's power. Because in a world where everyone's locked in, the man who always leaves the door open just can't be captured. Number 9, he's immune to identity politics. The Matrix loves a good label. It runs on division, splitting people into teams, tribes, and categories, left or right, male or female, victim or oppressor. It's always drawing lines in the sand and daring you to pick a side. That's how it controls the masses. Not with chains, but with identity. Once you accept a label, you inherit the script that comes with it. You're told how to think, who to hate, what to fear, and what to defend, even if it's not truly yours. The Matrix doesn't care if the label is right or wrong. It only cares that you're wearing one, because once you do, you're predictable. But the Sigma male, he doesn't play that game. He's intellectually nomadic. He doesn't settle in ideological camps or echo chambers. He doesn't let his gender, race, political leaning, or background define how he sees the world. He listens, he observes, he filters, and then he decides for himself, always. You can't drag him into the gender war. He's not fighting on either side. He sees the manipulation behind it. You can't bait him with outrage. He doesn't argue for the algorithm. He doesn't repost slogans or wave flags just to prove a point. Because deep down he knows this one truth. The moment you let a label define you, you let the system design you. That's why the Sigma male stays untagged. He's not a joiner. He's not a defender of tribe. He's not here to win arguments. He's here to think, move, grow, and disappear if he needs to. The Matrix tries to box him in, but by the time it finishes labeling him, he's already outside the box. He's immune not because he's indifferent, but because he's aware. Too aware to be manipulated, too independent to be used, too fluid to be pinned down. And in a world that runs on labels, the man without one is the hardest to control and the hardest to stop. Number 10, he controls his tech, not the other way around. In today's world, the Matrix doesn't need chains or bars. It has screens. Most people are already plugged in 24/7. Notifications, scrolling, likes, endless content. It's a cycle of distraction that's perfectly designed to keep you addicted and obedient. But the Sigma male doesn't play that game. He uses tech, but it never uses him. He's not the guy doom scrolling at 2 a.m. or chasing digital highs through likes and comments. He doesn't need to post every thought, selfie, or opinion just to feel seen. He knows that's how the system trains you to trade your attention for validation and your time for cheap dopamine. The Sigma sees through that. He treats tech like a tool, not a lifestyle. He logs in with purpose. He builds, learns, communicates, and then logs out. No obsession, no addiction, no chains. And that's where his power lies. The Matrix is built on dependence. It wants you needing the feed, craving the attention, responding to every buzz like a trained dog. Because the more dependent you are, the easier you are to control. But you can't control a man who doesn't need your platform. The Sigma male can vanish from social media for a month without flinching. He can spend a whole day offline and not feel like he's missing out. Why? Because his self-worth was never tied to a screen. His peace doesn't come from a comment section, it comes from within. He doesn't fear missing the next trend or meme. He's focused on real progress, real skill, and real freedom. And that makes him dangerous to the system. Because the Matrix can only trap those who are plugged in. But the Sigma male? He keeps the plug in his own hand. And when he's done using the tool, he walks away clean. Number 11, he's nomadic by mind, not just geography. The Matrix is built to track movement, physical, digital, and mental. It doesn't just want to know where you are, it wants to know how you think, what side you're on, what beliefs you've subscribed to. It needs to place you in a category so it can predict your next step. feed you targeted content, and mold your behavior. But the Sigma male doesn't make that easy. Even if he lives in one city his whole life, his mind is always in motion. He doesn't settle into one belief system, one worldview, one ideological camp. He stays mentally nomadic, always observing, questioning, evolving, never rooted too deep into one way of thinking that it becomes a cage. That's what makes him so hard to map. He might listen to ideas from both ends of the spectrum, but commit to neither. He can understand multiple points of view without being owned by any of them. One day he's reading philosophy, the next he's learning a new trade, the next he's unplugged in silence, thinking for himself. The Matrix doesn't know what to do with that. It thrives on clear labels: liberal, conservative, activist, rebel, loyalist, influencer, follower, but the Sigma male doesn't wear any of those tags. And when he does borrow from a system, he never stays long enough to be converted. You can't manipulate someone whose mind is too free to sit still. That's why the system can't track him, not just physically, but ideologically. His beliefs can't be boxed. His values weren't downloaded. They were earned through experience and reflection. He doesn't need to move countries to be untraceable. His mind moves faster than any algorithm. And in a world where everyone is mentally anchored to trends, headlines, and outrage cycles, the Sigma male's fluid mind is his true escape pod. He's not just hard to find, he's impossible to follow. In final words, the Matrix was never designed to handle someone like the Sigma male. It's a system built on loops: social approval, fear, reward, punishment. It counts on people needing attention, chasing status, following trends, and fighting for a seat at a table that was never made for them in the first place. But the Sigma male doesn't need a seat. He builds his own table, or he eats alone, on purpose. He doesn't rebel loudly or demand to be seen. He simply moves with quiet precision, guided by something the Matrix can't track: inner clarity. That's what makes him untouchable. He doesn't need to dominate or submit. He just exits the game, fully aware of what he's leaving behind and what he's stepping into: freedom. And here's the truth: you don't have to be a Sigma male to start thinking like one. You just have to be willing to unplug from the noise, to question the scripts you've been handed, to stop trading authenticity for approval. Freedom doesn't start when the system changes, it starts when you do. Detach from what doesn't serve you. Master your own mind. Build in silence. Move with purpose. When you stop needing the Matrix, it loses all power over you. You don't need to shout to prove you're free. You don't need to fight to show you see through it. Just walk, quietly, intelligently, unapologetically, your own way. Because at the end of the day, the Sigma male isn't a trend or a label. He's a reminder that a man who knows who he is can never be owned. And if you're watching this, maybe you've already started becoming one. Keep going, stay sharp, stay free. Thank you for watching, Gents, and God bless you.